get your undergrad degree, go to grad school, do your internship, and then you want to get licensed or get certified in your state. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Tiffany. I am a school psychologist in Northern Virginia, and I am here to talk about how to become a school psychologist. I guess for a lot of the people that have been watching me the past few years, you probably are either in a graduate program or you are a school psychologist, or you probably know. But I guess this is for more of my new viewers or people who are just interested in the field and you just don't even know where to get started, because that information could be very overwhelming and there's a lot of things you have to do. So I created 4 different steps to follow. I guess this is the most traditional path to becoming a school psychologist. This is what the majority of people who become school psychologists will kind of go through in order to practice. So your first step is to finish high school and then get your bachelor's degree in a related field. Of course, the major, it really doesn't have to be related, that's not a necessity. But I think programs do favor it, and it makes it easier for you when you look at prerequisites for your graduate program. So some related fields for your undergrad degree might be psychology, human growth and development, childhood education, applied psychology, anything in that realm would be great, because it's going to give you a good background for your graduate studies. The reason why it's not a necessity though is because most grad programs, they have what's called prerequisites, and those are classes that they want you to take before applying, or sometimes they let you, they admit you and then they tell you have to take 1 or 2 classes over the summer before the program starts for you to, I guess, officially be accepted. And so honestly, you can be any major as long as you finish a couple classes. And for my program, their prereqs were general psychology, statistics, research methods, abnormal, and developmental. And typically, if you're a psych major, in undergrad, you're pretty much covered. You might have to take 1 or 2, but I didn't have to do that, so that was really nice. My biggest tip for this step is to look up programs that you're interested in for grad programs and see what their prerequisites are. Because that'll give you a good idea of whether you meet the criteria, whether you have to take more classes to prepare for application, and to get a general sense of what they're looking for in candidates. Right, step number 2 is to decide on what kind of degree you want. I have a video, I'll put it in the cards above, about what the different degrees for school psychology means, but basically it's hard to practice with just a master's. You want a specialist degree or a doctorate in most states, and you want to find a program that you want to apply to and attend. A lot of people have asked me, how do you choose the best grad program for you? I think there's a lot of different factors that go into choosing a graduate program, whether it's finances, location, the strength of the program, or their specialty, or the faculty. But I think the first step is to decide if you want to get a specialist degree or a doctorate degree. And a great resource for this is to go on the NASP website. And NASP is the National Association of School Psychologists. They provide a lot of resources and they advocate for school psychologists. So NASP has their own standards for what makes a good graduate program. A lot of programs seek NASP approval because that'll make it easier for you to become nationally certified and to also move around different states to practice. Anyway, so if you go onto the NASP website, they'll give you a list of programs for There's Lucky. So if you go to the NASP website, and I'll put the resources down below, but they will list every state and then all the NASP approved programs in each state, and that might be a really, really good place for you to start. And they'll list whether they have a specialist program or a doctoral program. And of course, you don't have to go to a NASP approved program, but it'll make it a lot easier for you to get certified or licensed, and to just ensure that you're going to a program that has its ducks in a row and they have everything set up well for you to get the training. Step number 2 is just about grad school, applying, getting in, attending, doing all of your coursework. And this typically for specialist degrees takes around 2 years full time, including a summer semester, it's 5 semesters. For doctoral programs, it's going to be a little bit longer, a little bit more intense, and probably more research-based. For a specialist degree, it's 60 credits, and for doctoral degrees, they're typically around 90. So step 3 is after you're done with all of your classes and your practicum experiences that's kind of tied in with your classes, after you're done like doing all of your like essays and all of that stuff. Step 3 is internship. And internship is where you apply everything that you've learned, all the theories, how to give assessments, and you go and you work basically full-time under like a mentor or your supervisor, whoever is going to be overlooking and giving you supervision. Typically, internship is 1 full year, and in a lot of different districts and states, they will pay you. I know some places they give you a full salary. I guess in places where they do pay you a full salary, they do expect you to work as like an independent practitioner, which I'm not a big fan of because you're still learning, and there's just a lot of things that you learn while you're on the job, and I feel like that internship piece is so important for you to learn the ropes under someone who's been doing it for a long time. There are also places that just pay a stipend of like $15,000 to $20,000, which is, I still think it's amazing that they're able to provide something, but I feel like for a lot of people that's not really feasible for them to live with, you know, that little money while basically working full time. So that's a shame. And then there are places that just, they don't pay you anything, and you're basically you're volunteering for many, many hours and many, many weeks. Is pretty tragic. And with the shortages in our field, I really hope it's something that districts are willing to look into and change, and maybe it has to come from the state or like, you know, in the national level, but I definitely think we need to either get paid at least a stipend, if not a salary. I mean, a lot of times we are expected to do a lot of work. Step 4 is after you're done with internship, you want to get certified or licensed in your state, and it's important to look at your state Department of Education under school psychology, like what they require for you to practice in the state, because it differs depending on where you live, which is kind of crazy, but like I guess like in the US, that's just how things work. Like every state is so different, and even within the state, like every district kind of works very differently for education. So definitely go to your state website and see what they require. Sometimes they expect you to have like the national certification by NASP. They do list the details of like what they want you to have completed and the degrees and all of that stuff. So I would go and check it out. In some states, they require you to take the school psychology praxis, and I think this is also required for the national certification by NASP. For the praxis, if you attended a NASP approved program and you've been keeping up with your studies, it really shouldn't be a big deal. You can probably take like a few days or like a few weeks to brush up on some of the court cases and ethics and things like that. I do have a video on it, which I will leave up in the cards, about how to study for the praxis. But that's another thing you can do to prepare for certification or licensure, depending on your state and depending on what you're trying to do. So that's basically it. You want to go to high school, get your undergrad degree, go to grad school, do your internship, and then you want to get licensed or get certified in your state. I know it sounds like a lot, but you just take it like one step at a time, one day at a time, and then before you know it, you're there. And I think that's like with a lot of things. I think the scariest part for me personally, like especially like while I was in college or like after I graduated, was that like all of this sounds like a big commitment, and you know, once you start, you feel like it's hard to like either quit or like turn to a different path because you're already like, you feel committed. So I think research is really, really important, and obviously if you're watching this video, you're doing research. My camera ran out of memory and we're going to finish filming here. Basically, I was saying it's a great field. You get to work in education, help schools and students and families. Some days can be stressful, but once you finish grad school and get certified and you're able to work, you will most likely find a job easily because there's such a shortage in our field. I feel like it's a great like career to have, and you also get winters and summers off. There's just like a lot of pros. So definitely a field that you should look into and consider. And yeah, that's it. So that is how you become a school psychologist. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more similar content. Bye!